that you are going through a difficult time and you have done everything perfectly. You have not, you have been in practices, you have been with healing, you have been with everything, and things look like they are not actually happening the way you want it to finish, and let it go. Now, I will pinpoint areas today very gently. Psychosomatically, we will work where we have this um, place that we have stored, that place of impatience that the people who have hurt us have to come and forgive us or come and have that apology. Uh, but you need to have a different perception of life when you come into this realization of your part of the life, that what is you have become more resilient in holding yourself in a peaceful manner. It is a gift that you give it to yourself, whether your body is not in the perfect condition what it was, but it is what it is, as it is. If you had a perfect body at this level of thoughts and emotion, you might do something much more harmful by taking a decision from the space of the ego. So I'm going to let you to discover. I also went through these journeys. I may be going through it with the turmoil of my thoughts and emotions and bodies. And I may have put a armor around me to protect, not from you, because I was vulnerable. I'm just using myself so that I'm not pinpointing towards the student. Even you wrote me these emails. Um, I have put that boundaries. I have put that armor. But that armor, because I felt that if the friend and the father and the relationship or the community could not look after me, I need to protect myself going and self-beating about that. So maybe that's what it is you're going through. But that armor, to a certain extent, it works. But then this next extent, it will suffocate you because you're overprotective of you and you cannot have a genuine conversation because you think that the world is at you, you think the community is at you, you think the health is at you, and you need to work on this very gently. So I will pinpoint where you are storing these energies of reoccurring residue of these loopholes. Now, to heal, the best thing is to forgive yourself for suffocating yourself and cutting away from all that is being part of you. I'm not telling you to have these energies and go back and give hugs and love, love, love. It's not like that. You're doing that because you don't have that hug for yourself. You're doing that because you don't have that generosity to be compassionate to yourself. So you are programmed to be quite in a place of achieving things and having success. And you also put peace as a success. I need to get it. I need to get that trophy. You can't. It is how you maintain. Life will throw us all challenges constantly, and it is part of inevitable truth. But look at it, how much we are scared of pain. We numb pain. We find a way to push pain out. It does mold you into something much more if you have the peace to face it. Whether it's the health, whether it's the wealth, whether it's a relationship, it is your perception with the world, it is your perception with whatever, whatever. So saying that, um, really generally observe these areas where you have put on the armor, where you have put on the barrier, where you have neglected yourself to nature something else, and now you don't have that nurturing for yourself. Uh, so just bringing it back to yourself, not selfishly, but selflessly. Now take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back, opening up your chest, shoulders roll back and open up your chest, and elevate the space of the heart. Take a couple of more deep breaths into your body and just coming to the space of that movement of the thought or movement of the breath or the movement of the body is not really you. Somewhere down in, you have lost in these areas. So you're very gently coming into feeling the body, you're feeling the breath, but yet you're not giving the commentary of this is great, this is good, this is bad, this is not right. Now saying that, take a deep breath in and twisting the spine to the right. Keep your breath as the count of 4 and hold your breath into the count of 4. Very gently breathing out into a longer breath. And see that where is that space is at as it is, not where you want to manipulate it. Your mind has a very limited experience to get the body back into its space, back into the center. Take a deep breath in, shoulders roll back, elevate the space of the heart. Take that space of the spine and changing the leg formation and twisting the spine towards the opposite direction. Taking that deep breath in into the count of 4, holding the breath into that space of the count of 4. Breathing out, maybe elongated breath. I will move gently the mat towards Darren. Exhale, and coming back into the center. Palms raised onto the crown, interlacing the fingers, palms facing up. Shoulders roll back. Breathe out, spread the wings wider. And relax. Now stretch the neck to the right. Take a deep breath in, back into the center. Breath out, stretch the neck onto the opposite direction. Back into the center. Now, keep that observation in the space of the breath is calming. The transitioning is happening rather than holding on to an emotion of pain. You're bringing this consciousness to evolve your journey to marked by moments, breath. Now, completely breathe out to a seated cat. Now, what the situation has thought and emotion level has forged, and you're calming that fire and the experience that you're still holding as a memory. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye. There is a space that you have become aware of. Not to someone, not to something, but can observe the face of the storm, become the eye of that hurricane. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Now very gently shrug the shoulders up, tilt the head back, breath in, anus lock, navel lock. I want to activate those both chakras. Breathe out. Collapse the spine, release the tension, get that in there, and the Pingala Nadi, the masculine and the, not as a gender, and the feminine energy to move through. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze onto the third eye, where you are now releasing the tension of the imaginary doubting, fear, and you're coming into the space and you're standing with whatever. Tumultuous journey, not unscattered, but certainly more resilient, more at peace with yourself. Breathe out, anus lock, navel lock, throat lock. Back into the center. Now very gently reach into the space of a cat seated. From a seated cat to knees on the floor, palms onto the floor. Your bum have to be quite flexed. Your shoulders have to roll back. Your spine is curving. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate, energy gaze. Breathe out. Start pulling the belly into the back of the spine, chin to the chest. Breathing in, tongue roll up onto the upper palate. Now, eyes gaze onto the third eye. Now, pain is an inevitable part of this whole journey. Now, come into the place that you are not escaping or avoiding. Back into the center, give a good rotation. Now, let that energy flow. Release the arm from the space of the digestion, space of the liver, spleen, and bring that energy flow into that space. But you're bringing the practices also in it. That unavoidable what has happened or happening is just coming to that space of not avoiding it, but not also giving any more meaning. Back into the center, on to the other side. So nothing is really embedded into this place of this observation, not just the image, but the realization. The embedding part is only happening on a mind and a psychosomatic way to the body. But you're altering the way you see the whole thing now. Back into the center, neutral spine, right arm reaching up to the ceiling, clench and unclench, right arm under the left armpit, releasing the tension and letting go of that arm that you're holding and overprotecting on the lower back, right shoulder blade, that hurt, but not that you're forced into just saying like, I'm letting go of it. It does not work like that. But this is a realization that the hurt would have happened in one situation, but you have constantly punished yourself because you can't let go of that thought, that emotion. And you're forgiving for holding that space in your body without you knowing. Some people actually don't have choices when they come into pain, and so don't regard this as for those. And it will weigh you down because if it's in the health or in another thing. Back into the center. Breathe out to the cat, releasing the tension, breathing in into a cow. Neutral spine, left arm reaching up to the ceiling. Clench and unclench under the right armpit. Very gently hold that body where, observe that body where you are holding that unbearable part. Letting go of that waves of despair. It may would have taken you into a body, taken into emotion. But the practice, if you're quite aware of it, it will not let you sink into it. You can call it awareness, you can call it strength, you can call it God, you can call it whatever it is, stubbornness. Back into the center, very gently coming back. Shoulders relax. Push the hips into the front, opening up, shoulders roll back. So it's almost like up face, but you're dragging the knees on the floor. So you're not pushing anything into that. Focus on that. And Yasmin want to join. Breathe out towards the down face. Head down, neck down, totally relax, releasing the tension. Now back into the space and take a lift up onto the toes. Push that heels down. Take a deep breath in, left leg up into the back, releasing any further tension. Left knee to the chest, breathe out. Come forward. Use this posture strengthening. Left leg stretch back. Left knee to the left elbow. Stretch back. Left knee to the right elbow. Stretch back. Left foot into the front. Arms stretching to the back. Arms raised onto the crown. Palms onto the pranam position. Turn to the right. Opening up onto the Virabhadrasana. So let your front knee not go past your ankle. Adjustment should be from the back leg. Don't just put a lot of weight on that knee. Take a mudra that you're releasing the walls that you have built up. They were not to keep anyone out, but protect the innocence of your raw emotion, the vulnerable emotion, the bruised emotion. So whatever, some may have to do it alone, some may not have that partner or that wealth or that health. So whatever, if it is overdone it, please release it and take a deep breath to see where you're holding that risk and the pain and the fear in the body. Gentle arch. Back into the center, elbow onto the knee. Now, some people, right arm reaching into the ceiling when you get the alignment, some people hold this emotion very strongly. I've been seeing few of you, but I don't want to let this down because I don't want it happening again. A fair coming, I don't want to give anyone the power to hurt me anymore. To a certain extent, yes, that's how the world works on a surface level. But really bring the practice into it. Who is this other person? Is that a thought and emotion that your brain now holding and exposing the raw wounds that still haven't fully healed? Or you are constantly peeling off the slabs of the healing? Is that what it is? Right arm reaching into the front, touch the floor. But I'm reaching into the front, to the ceiling. Get that breath to funnel through and remove any residue of these unnecessary walls, not as a facade, but as a necessary. But reaching into the back and very gently touch the floor, drop the back knee onto the floor, holding onto the front knee, and push the hips into the front and into the back, and just relieve those parts that you're holding in the space of the lymph nodes, groins, armpits, throat. Arms stretch onto the sides, opening up, Garudasana right on the top. Very gently keep that activating of the pressure point on the crown, third eye slightly, breathing in calm, and not let the turmoil outside to disrupt the fragile points that you're holding as pressure points, pituitary and the pineal. And you're just trying to nurture that space. Within that calmness, you're very gently dropping that shields that you're holding in the body, whether it's the shoulder blades, finding it, whether it's the spine. It's very hard to break these tissues that not necessarily serve you. It's years of unlearning. Take a deep breath in, breath out, spread the wings wider and touch the floor. Let go of things that you could not control, and you will come into that acceptation that I couldn't change the past, that I couldn't make people apologize or make things right. I have to stop constantly blaming myself, constantly blaming anyone. Blame is not healthy for the body and the mind. Plan. We can see the current political situations everywhere. It's a blame. You don't want any more blame into the world because it's full of it. Drop the knees and stretch the spine. Palms facing up. We cannot come into what is right and wrong and the actions what others can do and others can't do. But you can stop what has been done to you by you. What is being done to you by you? Harsh reality. Perhaps this is the hardest lesson today. But once you have found that space within yourself, some of you might be discovering it today. Some of you have discovered but need reassurance. Some of you might be revisiting this vibration and frequency and the energy. Now you might be wondering if you have this and how did you do it? For people, if someone does not have this practice, they crumble. You could see on their exterior, they crumble. When I say on exterior, is how the world sees things and how the outside. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front, breathing in into up face. Breathe out onto the down. Right leg up into the back, give a rotation to the right foot, right knee to the right chest. Stretch back, right knee to the right elbow, stretch back, right knee to the left elbow, stretch back, right leg up into the back, right foot into the front. Ground that foot properly. Release the shackle that you can't move into the present moment because you're holding that exterior, the demeanor, unflappable demeanor. Arms stretching to the back, arms raised onto the crown and onto the Virabhadrasana. Now opening up into a mudra. If you have done the inner working, and at inner working, some of you have put countless hours on these classes. Some of you have gone countless hours wrestling with your thoughts and emotions and healing, pain, disappointment, hurt. But there is a mudra. All that you're still in the space of the eye. And you were in that space, in that silence, sleepless, crying, spends day and night. Some of you might replay the scenarios. What if I have done this way, that way? Take a mudra to represent this realization. Have I done it wrong? Why is life is punishing me? Why is this? What did I do wrong? When you come into that space of that strength that you're projecting to the mudra and the realization, gentle art. Back into the center. Elbow onto the knee. Left arm reaching up when you got the alignment. Gently stretch. Now, why are parents so much worried about their children? Because the vulnerability can be exploited. And even you have grown up to adult body, the same vulnerability is there. When you do parenting, your also mind does that to you. In parenting, you just overprotect yourself. So you don't want to show your true feelings because it can be misused. It can lead into hurt. So observe these emotions that you are presently working on and calming your exterior from a place of interior. So the body can heal. The mind is in that space of observing and forgiving. But composing this is just not a self-preservation, it's also about understanding through your battles, like reaching into the front, touch the floor. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. Clench and unclench. Breathe when you find a blockage of energy, a pain. It can be the story of people who hurt me, people who let me down, systems that betrayed my trust. But everybody who also has done this, also dealing with something. But now you come into the realization, right? Reaching into the back. That's the floor. Holding onto the front knee. Lunge. Looking forward just to release that struggle, that excuse, that behavior. Changing those patterns, perspectives. Arm switch onto the sides. Garudasana left on the top. And activate the pineal and the pituitary energy through the mudra. Now you come into a place that its forgiveness is not to others. There's a lot of going forgiveness at the moment. It's shouting very loud. But forgiveness is also myself. I forgive myself for the time I was too trusting, for the times I ignored the signs. Myself to be hurt. I forgive myself because I know now that I was doing the best I could, but the knowledge and the experience I had at the time. And in forgiving myself, I find peace now, reflection now. The desire to hold this space is now. No division. Stroke and spread the wings wider. Into a plank. We were seeing a student recently, drop the knees, stretch the spine. She was very strong in her exterior, and she has done a lot of spiritual work in her life. But in the end, after the session end up, we find that even everything was perfectly normal. What she was really connecting was she needed to be valued. So she was trying to be independent, but she, in the end, wanted people to love her because she didn't feel that love was not there in her, but she was very strong to admit it in the start of the healing. So she was telling me someday she will choose exactly someone like her, so she doesn't have to worry about it. I said, no, because if exactly someone like you is in you, and it's not, looks like it's not enough. All it needs was a realization. But someone will come when you have that space nurture within yourself and you project that frequency, and it can shade in two bodies and two minds. But you have to come to that place that you're enough. Palms facing down, crawling and bringing the chest into the front. Drop the belly, soften the hip, elbows onto the floor, and you're coming into a gentle cobra. You're coming into a gentle Bhujangasana. This Bhujangasana, you may never receive the apologies that you deserve. You will never really get uh, all those accolades. But you're coming into this space that you can't control what other people are. You can't control to make amends. You can't correct the surface errors. But what you are, you have a choice. How you're going to respond to your body, to your mind, how you can release the hurt so that you come into the present moment to allow the energy, the frequency, the vibration to flow. So, what is the choice there? Choosing reaction? By all means, react. If someone is chasing you, run. But what happens if that run is constantly happening in your mind and body? And you don't know what peaceful body is. There is a strength in a peace because it doesn't waste its energy to react to everything. Now this is more powerful than apology and accolade and anything. Now relax the third eye onto the floor, elbows pointing out, roll the hip side to side and see whether there's any battles happening in the body. Is this fight, the war in the body, is it necessary? Fight for health, fight for wealth, fight for relationship, fight for love. Under the name of all these things, is your mind and body still fighting? Fight for justice, fight for right world. Because deep down, this is the emotion of anger and hurt. Even the desire for justice into the system. Because justice might come to the system, but you might be way over expired before that because you're taking poison asking someone else to die. So, what did happen to your class now? What did you find? What was your choice? Accept that things are beyond your control, but you actually can control what you put into the mind as you control your food and friends and certain things. Of course, life is not fair, but because a lot of people are playing in it, so everyone plays to their own tune. But it doesn't mean you have to carry the weight of them. Some people carry the weight of the whole world. I wonder why they don't sleep. I wonder why they don't rest. They carry the unfairness of the world in their shoulders. So let it go, release the burden. But if you're responsible for your own space, when you come into that space onto the knees and stretch the spine into the back, knees wide apart, palms facing up. If the body have taken this calmness truly, this liberating space, what would the body looks like? What would the body feel like? And what did the body looks like before with the struggle and the pain and the heartbreak? Now your reflection is there. You have opened up the pathways for healing. Healing is a frequency and a vibration, but it's not what you want, what your mind and body is the navigator of that space. So be very gentle with it. It's worth it becoming aware of this practice. Because only through the practice you can look back and experience. And that experience should be looked back without bitterness. Otherwise, you will look forward with bitterness. And in that bitterness, nothing happens. Bitterness as a truth is a different story, but I'm just using language because English language is very limited to show these areas. Now very gently coming into the child pose, you bring the knees together, you come into the space of the innocence and the gratitude and the lessons learned. What would be the body? Body is humble. That's why Namaskar position in Asian countries that we worship everything because our body is so humble, not as a force. It is humbleness is a strength, and the calmness is a strength. But this strength is yours. This wealth is yours if you don't trade it for anything else. Some people give this when they get excitement over money or excitement over something that they call love. I'm not saying that, but love necessarily have to come from this understanding that you don't chase it. You project like a lighthouse so it navigates towards you and allows the others to keep on the same frequency. It is not a lack. It should never be a lack. Now wake up the spine, each vertebra, one vertebra at a time, with this sense of purpose in each vertebra. Activate the energy of the Sushumna. Now when it's stuck, stack it gracefully, hold gracefully with hope. Now you're not looking at the world as a weight. I mean, imagine how terrible this whole news is screaming to look at the world as a weight and putting it weight on people who cannot manage themselves. Of course, that's why they are feeling heavy. But this is not what you need grounding. And you have the strength, no matter what happens, you'll be okay. Now, all the experience, the struggle, the pain, the loss, being wrong, now that's all worth, because you have molded into something amazing out of it. When you come into this realization, stretch the legs into the front, release any static, release anything that you're holding. Now you can see all certain things in life when you are aligned. The truth comes very blunt, but you can handle that bluntness without getting caught up in it. So the truth tellers, whether it's your teacher, whether it's your healer, we care more for your growth than your comfort. So we never sugarcoat the truth. Pull out the buttocks very gently. Give the energy flow to evolve you for that space of liberation. And when your knees slightly, arms raised onto the ground, very gently while you're breathing, holding the breath, you roll the hips forward and very gently, authentically, you're reaching forward. This forward is not force. This forward is moving as a momentum. You're not confronted by your senses. You're not confronted by the truth. You're not confronted what life is throwing you at. All these things meant to wake you up from the illusion of your dreams. You don't go from one dream to another sweet dream. You go to sleep. So these dreams that people are telling your future is going to be like this. Also, a whole lot of distractions are happening in the world. These things allow you to bound into places superficially and not to grow. But the truth belongs to you if you can face it. Maybe the difficulty of life is coming because you are now is facing the truth. You'll uncover is that much of what you thought was important is not you have spent years, perhaps even decades chasing goals and ambitions. They were never truly yours. They were imposed to you. Find your own journey now, because I'm on age here, so I see everything in the last stage. Not their last stage, but when people come for a feeble body, when people come that no longer they can move the mind as they used to. So all they did was everything correct. Now gently coming back, shoulders relax and release those things and bring that authenticity of the breath and releasing that you have been living a life that dictated by external expectations, striving to meet those standards that deep down you know do not resonate with you, but you went with it because it was your father's dream, it was your mother's dream, it was your religious dream, it was your country dream. But now you're waking up into yourself. Let your soul start connecting to you. It will not talk to you in a language. It will only shatter these illusions. For some of you, it might be the pain of the emotion. Now come into a sitting posture. Now let's bring that energy back. Take a deep breath. You may have been climbing a ladder that is leaning somewhere. Now climb down with this realization. You might be fighting another battle, which is not your battle. Come back. Of course, the loss has waken you up. Now you have a meaningful opportunity to come back. Now the truth is settling in you. The health and well-being is settling in you. Begin to see how you have releasing the fear. It's no longer govern you. Anxiety doesn't govern you. Depression is not governing you. But all with right reasons, you accommodate fear because the life told you don't be failing with your finances, health, and this and that, and maybe judgmental fear of this and that. So held you back. So recognize these places where you're holding the fear as a legitimate barrier, but ultimately kept you unwell, kept you growing. So face these things with a different realm of rather than around them. When you come into that realization, you don't have to spend a lot of time on meditation. That liberation is meant to confront you, scare you. Most not to conquer it in a traditional sense, to understand it and embrace it. Arms raised onto the ground. Let it guide you to your true nature. You have to bring in the palms onto the ground. Third eye. Throat. Heart. The both doesn't have to be grand. It can be simple as being kind, showing up with some integrity, as living with the intention of your soul. Solar plexus, navel, moral. Let this wisdom to follow and lead in the end. That your truth of your soul speaks to you are not meant to break you, but to build you, not to diminish you, but to evolve you. Arms raised onto the ground, palms onto the namaskar position in this space. This is the space you're holding. Embrace this truth and integrate into your life from this moment. Namaste. Namaste. So you see, you you got it, huh? So asana pranayama, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, whatever the doors where you enter into life. Is that Rebecca and Daz on the iPhone? Very good, number 42. Good to see you. So you see, uh, and Dr. Michelle, I can see Sylvia, Sarah, Matt, and Yasmin, and Liz, and Maria. Good to see you, and Sage. Uh, so you slowly say, oh, you're there. How are you? Good to see the whole family. You're always on high grounds. And so you see, slowly, whatever the life story you have. So I've been working this week because some of you have said that for 1.5 years I couldn't get a healing from you. I don't have a lot of time, but I am doing healings. So I'm slowly going through the list. Um, but when you bring those problems one by one, they're all the same mechanism works. It's just being aware of it, where the life has got stagnated, where the life that I'm not living anymore. And am I living by my father's dream or my mother's dream or my uh, whatever the conditions are? We picked up things from our great grandparents. It's like um, the idea of another lady was very um, sad because she was on a Jewish background and she thinks that she will have to face the war that their grandparents have gone through. There's a lot of fear in it. So be very careful how we manage it. And I don't take sides. I just take the side of awareness. It's like coffee on this whole jar. So it's the same coffee goes to the mother, same coffee goes to the daughter. It's passed on. Some of the grief can be passed on because it's told as a story that they never live life. So what they do is out of fear, they take decisions to activate that fear furthermore. We don't need to resonate that anymore in this beautiful earth that we are taking this time. Enjoy every moment of it, celebrate everything, love everybody. So I went through the layers like I also went through this that I was very vulnerable to protect my own innocence. I have pushed certain things and create boundaries. Uh, but also after a while, it suffocates you. So you have to drop them when you're ready. And I'm just giving you little nudges to align with the truth of your own soul and do things. You come to love, you come to health, you come to wealth in that space because you use them as tools, but you never will get lost into it. Whether someone comes and go, whether someone doesn't come, whether money comes or not, a building comes or not, a car comes or not, these are not relevant because I have seen everybody now. I work with people who are 87, 90. They have everything coming to them, but they are still alone if they don't work that realization. I love you all. And big hugs to Liz, Dr. Michelle, my beautiful Dasa's family, Sylvia, Matt, Yasmin, Dr. Michelle, and Sarah. Love you so much. Take good care and be gentle to yourself.